So this morning, I got up about 4:30 and went out to the front and just did some basically prayer walking and thinking about all the resistance that we faced yesterday, from a hammer dropping out of the sky to almost hitting you in the head, to reschedule, to get our COVID test back at 1:45, to have to book a flight by 2, to ultimately not being able to get on because one number was off on 2 of the COVID tests. I mean, just stuff you can't make up. And then having to stay here, unique time at dinner. I mean, I think we had an awesome time this morning, eating breakfast and everything, but it was, last night was tough, and you had to come to a point where you're about to laugh. But when I was out there, walked from about 4:30, and then I meditated until about 5:30. And looking for, what did we do wrong? What did we do wrong in our lives? Was this some sort of karmic payback? What happened to cause all the resistance? Or why are we not going with the flow? The day before we had this incredibly flowing day. And I couldn't figure it out totally. Then I came back actually around 5:30, 5:45, and actually slept for about an hour and a half. Slept for an hour and a half, got up, and came down here and said, I'm just going to sit alone. And I did. It was nice and quiet out here. And it was sort of started to write in my journal. And there's a few notes in my journal, or a few days in my journal, where I started with wow. The word wow. First thing that came to my mind to get myself writing was wow. Sometimes it's been positive, but a lot of times it's like this was going to be wow. And I started and I said, another entry which begins with wow. And then something shifted it to me. And it was just the culmination of the walk, the meditation, and finally being able to sit down. And I realized that any time in my life when I've been called to a mission and I've half-assed the mission, everything I did was met with some level of resistance. In reverse, when you are on a mission, money can't matter. When you're on a mission, money can't matter. When you're on vacation, you might not want to spend the extra $2 on something. You might not want to upgrade the seat. I don't know. You might not need to stay in the presidential suite when it's vacation and relaxation. But when you're on a mission, money can't matter. And that took me all the way back to when we were in Cabo. And when we were in Cabo, I remember distinctly sitting on the boat, feeling alive, watching a Vici drone video coming in.
Hola amigo, estoy working. I'm all done. ¿Puedo retirarte?
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, no worries. So I was sitting on the boat and watching this drone video come into Avicii, who was miserably depressed. And it was 3 of him and his buddies. Drone video flies in, and it's him and 3 of his buddies in this beautiful house on the cliffs of Ibiza. Instantly when I saw that, I knew that our mission was to get everybody out of Boston, to get everybody out of Dallas, and get everybody to a house on a cliff for a wellness and meditation retreat, which we did in March of 2019. We spared not a dollar of expense. We got the best house. We got there flying first class, most people. We flew 10 people there, right? We had full-time service in the house. We had executive chef cook dinners in the house. We went to 2 of the best restaurants in Cabo. We spared 0 expense. On the drinking days, eat what you want and drink what you want. There's no limit to what we can do. And from that trip bloomed the greatest year that our company's ever had. A Super Bowl year. We did over $100 million, $106 million with the crew that we had in 2019. That is a miracle and an act of God, right? And that's something in my career and of everybody in our team's career. That's something I'm actually pretty proud of. To be able to not just do $106 million. That's like the Lakers winning the championship with LeBron and AD. Literally, who gives a fuck? It's lame. It's the lamest thing I've ever seen in my life. But when you're the Chicago Bulls and you win a title with Michael Jordan, and then people who, when Michael Jordan was gone, the team was terrible. Tom Brady, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You put Tom on the team you put a few resources around him, but that team didn't even make the playoffs last year. Now they're going to the Super Bowl. Like that shit, like that's so cool to me. And started to think back of all the other times that were like Cabo, when I basically sold out. I went all in on whatever it was that I believed I was supposed to do. Money didn't even register to me, and those were the best. In November, I knew I was supposed to go to Cabo for 30 days. We talked about maybe spending 2 weeks together. You weren't even in the thought pattern at that point. What did I say, Cabo? Oh yeah, we talked about, in November, I knew I was supposed to go to Cabo for 30 days. Get out of the United States, which I was very sick of and still am, and embarrassed by, frankly, the management of coronavirus and the management of our politicians. It's downright embarrassing. And it had pushed me to a point where I said, you know what, I'm going to go on a retreat. I was miserably depressed for a big chunk of 2020. Most anxiety I've ever felt, and I knew I got to get to Costa Rica, of all places on the earth, or St. Bart's, but I had to get to Costa Rica because St. Bart's would be vacation. Costa Rica was going to be meditation, big difference. So I wanted to go for 30 days in January, and what did I do? Doubted myself, doubted the Airbnb, doubted everything, and ended up finally on like January 7th or 8th, I finally booked 21 days. But I booked it by booking initially 15 days, which is half a 30, right? Half a 30. So when you half-ass the mission, you receive half the manna, right? And that's what happened to us. Because I half-assed the mission, I didn't go 30 days, I didn't have the balls to spend $2,000 a night on a house, I didn't have the balls to get an executive chef cooking for me breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I didn't have the balls. Not that I didn't have the money, not that I hadn't earned it, I didn't have the balls. Because I was told to do that the same way I was told to go to Cabo, same way I was told to fly private, same way I was told to go to Dallas and build our business in Dallas, same way I was told about One Uptown. I was told to go to Costa Rica for 30 days, and I let myself get involved and fuck the whole thing up. So it's my opinion that when you it's my lesson that when you half-ass the mission, you get half the manna. And I will tell you, that's why every other day was great and then extremely frustrating. Flow, resistance, because we got half the manna. So of course we had a great day prior to yesterday. We'll have a great day today too. We're going to get on the plane, fly back to Dallas, fly back to Boston, be back in our habitat. We're good to go. Half-ass the mission, half the manna. And when you are on a mission, money can't matter. So when something pierces your heart, pierces your head, and aligns with your body, that's a mission. That's how you know it's right. And once you know that there's a mission, money can't matter. That's both ways. Up and down. You spend what you need to spend, or you go broke on the mission. It makes no difference. Right? You said, oh, I'm renting this apartment. Like, what if my bank account goes to zero, basically, or close to zero, or I got a few $100 so my debit card gets rejected? It makes no difference. You're in elevation on a mission. So you can go to zero. The same way I went to zero when I was on a mission getting my business started. Zero. Negative in some cases when you look at the credit card debt versus the cash in the bank. Negative. But I was on a mission, so I was willing to go to zero. That's your mission now. Now my mission is, do I have the courage and the balls to follow my mission and make money not matter on the big side? Right? Because I could spend $100,000 on a trip. I'm not going to zero. But when I spend that $100,000 or invest that $100,000 on a mission, it turns into $1 million. But when I cut it in half and spend 50, the 50 turns to zero. That's what happened on this trip. Instead of taking my $100,000 that I was told to spend and watching it be $1 million, I took $50,000 and watched it go to zero. My mistake. Now, I have a list of benefits that we had from taking this trip. I've never spoken more and felt more comfortable in front of a camera. Never spoke more and preached more to people. It's great practice for me for whatever else we're going to be doing. And That stuff was great. Connecting the way that we were able to connect, bonding the way we were able to bond through the adversity of a trip, that stuff to me is priceless. And I would do it again. I'd have the frustration again to have him say, I'm not leaving them here, or to have us say, you think we're leaving him here if he doesn't get the test? Like, there's something to be said for that. That shit is special. And I'll take that. And I will take the first 5 days in Gabo, because I think the first 5 days in Gabo, then leaving Gabo, meeting the owner, everything made a little bit of sense to me. Because the owner lived 27 years in New York, but is from Switzerland. But bought 13 hectare in Costa Rica and built a compound for his family with a helipad on the property. Follow what I'm saying? That's a premonition, right? That's a premonition. So all that said, I just wanted to make sure we got that message out. I think that's ultimately how I would finish the trip. Is saying I cut corners on the trip. So yep, we went private here. Yep, we spent a little bit of money, but we didn't spend the money I was told to spend. Didn't go to the place I was told to go when I was told to go there. I was disobedient to what I believe was a mission sent from the Lord, and because of that, we received half the manna we should receive. So sure, we got stuff, but we didn't get it all.